Welcome back, I'm Julie and this is my channel, Julie Sews Her Own Clothes. Today is going to be a short vlog. I want to introduce to you the autumn sewing challenge that has been set up by the Sewing Warehouse and Shannon, who is the owner of that YouTube channel. Shannon has managed to get a whole range of partners on board to offer gifts for the challenge. Going to be a good competition. I think there's some great prizes and it's simple. During the month of October, sew something with long sleeves, because this is the hashtag long sleeves 23 challenge. So, simple rules: make a garment with long sleeves. This would not qualify. As you can see, I made it in very short sleeves. However, I have got a lot of this fabric left and I'm not sure if you can see, it's very stretchy and it's actually a bit too warm to be wearing on a day like this in the UK. We are having August weather in October and I'm not going to complain about it because it's absolutely glorious. We've just been down the seafront, met with friends and had a lovely long breakfast and beautiful weather. Have to wear my short sleeves. Potentially this is the wrong type of fabric because it's way too warm, but I could make this in long sleeves and it would qualify for the competition. So I'm going to give you some ideas of the types of things that in the UK I would be making this time of year, which seems a little bit bonkers with the sun bursting through my garden room at the moment. It's really super warm, so it's hard to imagine the autumn clothing that we should be wearing right now. But this time last year I did make myself some garments that potentially I have been considering making another one of. So this is the Tilly and the Buttons Lyra dress. I made this in a nice lightweight fabric, but you can see it does have long sleeves, which is wonderful for autumn days where the sun wants to make some kind of appearance, but there's a breeze in the air. Now we haven't got the breeze in the air today. It's very still out there and it's super warm, but we do often have sunny autumn days with a breeze where you want to put a cardigan on or at least cover your arms. So this version of the Tilly I've made in the 2-tier. You can see I've got the bottom tier. I don't know if I've got any photographs of this. I will have a look, and if I have I'll put them in. But actually I've got a feeling I only wore this twice. I have got photographs thinking about it. I wore this twice last year. I wore it probably the weekend after I made it. You know, when you get excited, you're like, I want to put it on. And I think we were actually down Southend where I've been today, and my husband and I went for a meal, a really lovely meal, I remember. All coming back to me now. I have got photographs. I changed the buttons on this 3 times. The original buttons colour matched really perfectly, but they were the wrong weight for the fabric. The second set of buttons were kind of neutral wooden buttons, but they just seemed too big. Feel like a Goldilocks story coming on here. And then I made the self cover buttons and they were just right. And they managed to stay on there. So I don't know if you can see my self cover buttons there. They sit really nicely. And yeah, I know it's a little bit leery, the fabric. It's kind of a little bit of an acquired taste, but I love it. It's my my type of fabric, really. You know, the whole point of making your own clothes is so you don't look like everybody else on the high street, and I definitely don't in that. So the Lyra dress, I'm kind of keen to make the Lyra dress, and I'm just looking down because the fabric that I want to use is just here. So give me a second while I raid my cupboard. And I have this fabric I have left over from, what did I make with this? I made the, is it there? No, it's not in my reveals that I'm going to show you. I made the Wilder gown in this, and I have loads and loads of, I think I've got about 3 meters of it still. So I potentially would like to make the Lyra in this. Now, whether I get round to it this autumn, I'm not 100% sure, because if you saw my autumn makes, I do have quite a bit on my list that I want to do, but I really do want at some point to use up this gorgeous 3 meters of Midnight at the Lake, it might be called. I want to use up this fabric and create something for the autumn, and I think the Lyra is a nice dress. Actually, speaking of Lyras, I did make a shorter version of the Lyra. Now this fabric, can't remember where the first one that I just showed you, where that I can't remember where that fabric comes from, but I'll look it up because it's written in my book. I keep a little log of everything now because I just forget everything otherwise. But this, I do remember seeing this on Tamlin's D-Stash page. So Tamlin from Sun on the Tyne had this in her D-Stash. I just thought it looked gorge. Now, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but it has a bit of a sheen on it, and it's, is it called jacquard, where it's got like a silk print over the top of the pattern in a different pattern. I don't think the camera's picking it up, but it really is a lovely fabric. However, it was not nice to sew with. It slipped about everywhere. I had to pin it within an inch of its life to get the collar on properly. In saying that, if I just button that up, I am super pleased with how it turned out, considering how awkward it was trying to be. It really did not want to be come a garment. But here it is, you can see there, the buttons are, they little rosy cheeks, potentially. They're gorgeous little buttons. I love the buttons, they're so sweet. And that is my second Lyra dress. Again, nice long sleeves. What I love about them, they're elasticated. You can pull them up. You can pull them up if it's nice and warm. Just pull them up. And this definitely looks fab with just a pair of flip-flops if the weather's nice, or a pair of sandals, but flat chunky boots, black tights. I've even worn it with a Paula neck jumper underneath in, maybe, did I wear this round about January, February time, and it's got pockets. It's a very nice swishy little number. So the Lyra is a definite go-to for me through the autumn, and then I haven't really gotten much wear out of this. I made this maybe round about Christmas. I think I made it through the Christmas holidays actually. So and I can't remember. It's a simplicity pattern. I will put it up so you can see what the pattern is, but in terms of a long sleeved top for the autumn weather. This is perfect. I think this is gorgeous fabric. I think I bought this from Beyond the Pink Door, I think, and it's an Atelier. So I'll put it in so you can see, rather than me say the wrong thing then have to correct myself and then put it in. But you can see it's bias bound on the cuff, which is very neat. It has a yoke back. However, it's not the smartest yoke back, I must admit. Could have worked a little bit harder on this. It is like, it's all exposed. I love a burrito yoke, whereas all the seams are tucked away nicely, but it's got a lovely pleat in the back of it and a front pocket that took me ages to get on there, and I sewed it so slowly to make sure that the line, that it was all nice. It's got bust dart, so it's got nice shape to it. It's got a slightly curved hemline. Yeah, you can kind of see. I don't think I've got any photos of it because I just don't think I've got any photos of it. I literally have not worn it much, and I am definitely going to make sure that this is hung in my autumn wardrobe with nice sheer black tights and a pair of heeled boots. It's a lovely, smart autumn, winter, long-sleeved dress. I think there's a theme here because this is the first one I made from the same pattern, and actually this just was a flop. There's something about this Lady McElroy fabric that absolutely drove me mad. Now, I used the right needles. I put 2 brand new needles in because it just kept catching on the needles. And I ended up with, everywhere had these white, I don't know if I can see any, so I can show you what I'm talking about, but it was catching and running, and I ended up with white bits all over the fabric. I'm trying to find some now, but you know what, I've hidden it quite well. I'll tell you what I did. I got my Sharpie pen out and I just created lots and lots of extra spots on it to hide where the fabric had ran, caught a little bit. It frayed. It was hard to work with. I have another, I think I've got another 3.5 meters of this, and I'll put the name up. I think you can see here what I'm talking about. Let me just see if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but there's white runs through it. It just seemed to be catching. Can you see it there? You see? But it was literally everywhere that I saw the hem, it was leaving a trail of devastation behind it. Not being over dramatic or anything, but when you've took your time to cut the fabric, and this was the first time that I'd made proper cuffs. I made this one with proper cuffs rather than the bias bound cuff that I just showed you. So it's got a proper cuff with a proper button and a proper little placket with a tiny little button. I took a lot of time and effort to make this, and the fabric just didn't seem to, I don't know, just didn't seem to cut with anything really. Just these little white lines, and probably no one else can see them when I've got it on, because no one stands this close to you. Look how close I'm having to show it to the camera. But these little marks are everywhere. And I must have, I probably, if I showed you it from the inside, no, I don't know. I literally, the gut, it looks like this on the inside, where I've covered over those white marks on the other side with the pen. I turn it over and you can't see it. You would know that if I didn't tell you that, but I know that. I know that it's there, and actually, whilst the colour looks all right on it, was a nightmare because it frayed a lot. But to be fair, the finished article is I do have a leopard print button-down shirt that I've had for best part of a year and maybe worn twice. I think the other problem was it doesn't wash well, this fabric. It faded first time through the wash. I guess it was one of my disappointments, because I had high hopes for this fabric. I really thought it was gorgeous. I just love that olive green colour. I love that it's so much of a autumn winter vibe. It's got, I put pockets on this one and I didn't on the other one. I just give it all of the effort. I gave it all of the effort, and it didn't really, the fabric didn't appreciate how well I was treating it, which was a bit frustrating. But it's wearable. It's definitely wearable. I'm gonna wear that. I'm gonna wear it more this autumn. I think it deserves to, if not for how it behaved, for the effort I put in. I will wear that this autumn, and that could go in the long sleeve challenge. It's not been, I think, has it been, oh, I don't know, I might put it on social media. Actually, that's the last of the dresses that I was going to show you for the long sleeve challenge. I'm just wondering what I did with the fabric. I had 5 minutes before I started. Here it is, because I actually have a little pile of stuff that I've made short sleeve garments with, but I seem to have enough left over to do myself something long sleeved. So I made the Tilly and the Buttons Tabitha t-shirt dress in this fabric, and it is a lovely dotty animal-esque type pink and black fabric. I could make myself a long sleeved Tabitha in this. I've actually got some nice black ribbon that I could use for collar and cuffs. This is remnants from, what did I use this for? I have to show you because it would fit in the long sleeve challenge. This I used for the Ollie bomber jacket, and I made a reversible Ollie bomber jacket. Now I am going to put some photographs in that, because that is just, I mean, how often do you see someone walking down the road in a fabric like that? Watching you, watching me. So that I have enough to make a sweatshirt with. Oh, and perhaps that could be the Mile End sweater that I've already got on my plans. Maybe I could make one in this jersey fabric and then make one in the dusky pink sweatshirt and fabric that I've already showed you in my autumn plans. And then I think this would make a gorgeous long sleeved t-shirt. I mean, look at that, cactuses. I just love the colours. right through winter actually, something colourful underneath your woolly. This is nice fabric. It's definitely worth getting involved in the challenge. So the opportunity is to sew a long sleeve garment through October. And sorry for looking down here, but I'm looking at my iPad that's got the instructions to make sure I give you the right information. Reveal your garment on Instagram using the hashtag long sleeves 23, hashtag long sleeves 23, and copy in the sewing warehouse into your Instagram post, and you will then be entered into the draw. Now, Shannon, who is running the challenge, will then select 10 finalists from the entries into the challenge, and then she will then invite people from Instagram to choose their favourite. There are lots of other vloggers who are promoting the long sleeves 23 challenge, and tomorrow, which is the 10th of October, the Umbrian Sewist and So Disorganised are both releasing their vlogs. I mean, they possibly could give you a clearer understanding of the rules. So lots of ways you can find out that extra information if my lack of clarity is bothering you. So what else have I been up to in my sewing room? I haven't actually got, I'll correct myself before I even finish the sentence. I do have something to share with you. You know that I have been, if you've been following me, 1, thank you. 2, you know I've been talking about denim for the last few vlogs, and I also shared on a few vlogs ago that I seem to have a chest full of denim from my husband. Well, actually jeans. Some of them I've managed to seam rip, others I lost patience with and cut the seams and stump. Some of them remain in their full status as a pair of jeans, and I haven't cut them up at all now. They are mainly between a size 36 and 38. My waist size is between 28 and 30, dependent on how much I've eaten, how much fluid I'm retaining at any given time. Yeah, biology is changing my size on a daily basis. I don't know what's going on. But generally, I can measure my waist and I will be somewhere between a 28 and mainly a 29 actually. Very rare I got to a size 30, but that's quite a difference from my husband's waist size. And this pair of jeans, I literally took the waistband off. I left the tabs on the waistband, but I seam ripped the entire waistband off the jeans. I took them apart on the inside seams, on the outside seams. I took all of the front fastening apart and the fly cover, the lot, separated them all. I left the front pockets as they were. I didn't change them, and I did leave the back pockets as they were to start with. And then I placed all of the pattern pieces over, can't remember, why can't I remember? I will put the name of the pair of jeans where I used the pattern pieces, and I layered my husband's pattern. I layered my husband's fabric pieces that I'd cut about, and I resized them, and then I put them together. Now, these were originally a fly zip. I broke the zip getting it out, so I decided I was going to try to do a button fastening. Now, I'm not really a button jeans kind of girl, but I just wanted to try it. I wanted to use this pair of jeans to experiment, to learn different techniques. I'd never put a jeans fly front together before. Obviously there were bits that I didn't need to do, like attaching the front pockets. They remain as intact as they were, but I literally changed everything else. The band across the waistline, I then had just a load of flappy belt loops that I did fasten down, and I am so chuffed. These jeans are basically my learning and development for my new jeans that I'm going to make, because you've got so many pairs there, and now I've learned what I did right and what I did wrong. I am definitely looking forward to the next pair. And what I have learned through this process actually is I much prefer a high waistband on my jeans, because I made these slightly higher than what the pattern that I used suggested, and I just love that they sit right on my natural waistline, nice and high, way above my belly button. They're just so comfortable. I'm gonna try and get my husband to take some photographs of me in these this afternoon. I did cut them quite short, but they're not quite the right length in terms of they were meant to be. So I cut them to the cropped length, which it just looks wrong. Maybe it's because I'm short and it looks like I'm wearing jeans that are too short for me, and maybe they need to be shortened a bit more. But I mean, I want to wear them turned up raggy like that. They are far from perfect. I had to take one of the pockets off the back because they pretty much overlapped. They were, you know, they're so big compared to. Now my husband's like, stick it back on, what are you worried about? And he suggested that I put it on the front here somewhere, but I haven't done anything with it. I actually think these are going to be, I mean, you can even see, if I'm going to turn them inside out and quickly show you how rough I made these, because the overlocker knives were not, I blunted them basically from using 4 or 5 layers of sweatshirt and fabric and lots of other things, and I overlocked parts of it, and then it really started to chew up the fabric, and I just thought, well, I just want to make the blooming things. So I ended up hand stitching a bit that it chewed. The crotch seam I didn't even bother attempting to overlock down, but what I did instead was I just stitched it 2 or 3 times to make sure it was nice and secure. So yeah, I did I'm quite chuffed actually with the button plackets. I think I've done that quite nicely. I did mess up that little tiny bit in the end there where the turning the waistband inside out. I didn't. Actually, that's not too bad. I think I just need to cut the bits out that are hanging out, and I think that will be fine actually. But in terms of the learning, I learned so much doing this. I enjoyed it so much, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a little bit of practice with the bright yellow. I've got some orange and yellow top stitch and thread. I'm going to practice on some scraps of denim, and then the next pair I make will not be my gardening housework jeans like these are, even though I will wear them with pride because yes, I loved creating these. The next pair that I make, I think, will be wearable beyond my front door. So that's the plan anyway. So that I did over the last couple of weeks. I've been attacking that and doing little bits and pieces to it. I can't show you what I've really been spending my time on that's got me really super excited, which is the mallard coat. I am looking at Annie the Manny because I've had to shift her from behind me as she is wearing my mallard in its partly constructed state that it's in. I've got my big old pockets on the front and I think they look fantastic. I'm super chuffed with them. I love the fabric, but it's tricky to work with, and I will explain all of that once I do the reveal because I want it to be a little bit of a surprise. You know that I'm doing the mallard with Stacey Gia Studios. Stacey is she's doing a winter version, I believe, for the reveal. I haven't seen her fabric. She's given no clues away and I've given no clues away, so we don't know what each other's are going to look like. But I do know that she's also going to do a summer version of the mallard, and she's going to use that to create a step-by-step sew along for those who fancy giving it a go but a bit unsure about constructing a coat from start to finish. And I think some of her YouTube subscribers have even asked her to go right to step one in terms of how you measure yourself for a coat, so that they can step into that world of creating outwear garments for the first time. So we're both very excited about this, and I'm pleased with the way it's coming along. But there's a couple of things that kind of have held me up a little bit. One is the fabric. It's ex-designer fabric. It's high-end quality. And I'm really taking my time with it. I don't want to ruin it. I think the fabric is absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really taking my time with it. I've been through my button stash to see if I've got anything that I want to use, and currently there's nothing in. I don't have a massive button stash, it's a jar. I have got a couple of other packs, but nothing that would go with my mallard. And my mother-in-law, thank you Val, because I know you watch my channels. I have your Scotty dog, and I've been through the button collection that Val gave me. She's provided me with a lovely tin of buttons that I believe were my husband's Nana's buttons, so they've been passed down, and there's some really beautiful buttons in here. I can't wait to make something where I could use them. They're gorgeous buttons, and there's loads of them. So yes, I have, you can kind of start guessing what colours I'm not using for my mallard by the gorgeous buttons that are not going to work for this project. I mean, they're lush, look at them. You see? I'm not sure if you can see, it's too bright. You see those buttons, the detail? It's just lovely. Lovely, lovely. I don't know. You like me? Do you get excited about buttons, or do you think, what is she talking about? They're just sweet little stacks of buttons in. Oh, they're quite nice. But none of them go with my mallard. So I have two options. I can use self-cover buttons like I did for my Lyras, and I actually wonder if these would work size-wise or if they're a bit small. Well, I think they would work. So if you look at the hat that I made, I do have some more of these. I wonder what size they are. 1.5 inch wide. Yeah, I might get away with that. I'm gonna make some up because there's no harm in giving it a go. So I'm gonna make up some self-covered buttons and maybe just keep scrolling through the internet looking till I find some the buttons that I want. I'm not looking for anything fancy at all. I just want something that's very understated but not cheap looking or boring. That's it. So anyway, I am cracking on with the mallard. I will let you know that I am making the full length version rather than the jacket version. I haven't decided whether I'm going to use the rounded or the pointed collar, so I've cut both out. I'll probably pin it up, take a photograph of it with both, and then maybe just kind of see how it's coming along. Yes, excited about that make, really excited about that make. I think it's going to be a fun reveal when we get to that point, and we are revealing them early November, so I haven't got that much time to create that garment. So that I've been working on that mainly this week. I haven't touched my patina blouse, but definitely the patina blouse could end up in the long sleeve challenge because I am going to make it with the full sleeves and the cuff. I will show you a photograph of my last patina blouse, which was long sleeved. I am going to shut up though because I feel like I've rambled on forever. The sun is still shining. We've got the garden furniture out, so I'm going to get out there and I'm going to enjoy the late afternoon sun, and I will catch up with you soon. So take care. Bye.